Welcome back to our channel, coin lovers and collectors. Today we're diving into one of the most interesting coins from Australia, the 1971 50-cent coin. At first glance it might look like an ordinary coin in your change, but don't be fooled. Some of these coins have been known to sell for much more than their face value, especially if they're in mint condition or contain rare errors. So if you've got an old jar of coins lying around, you'll definitely want to check if you have this one. It could be worth a lot more than 50 cents. Let's explore the story, the rarity, and the real value of the 1971 Australian 50-cent coin. Let's get started. The 1971 Australian 50-cent coin belongs to the decimal series introduced in 1966, when Australia officially transitioned from pounds, shillings, and pence to dollars and cents. The 50-cent coin went through a significant design change in 1969, shifting from a round silver coin that contained 80% silver to a dodecagonal or 12-sided design made from copper nickel. The 1971 issue therefore reflects the second major phase of Australian 50-cent coins and is an early example of the iconic shape we are familiar with today. By 1971, Australia was firmly establishing its decimal currency, and these coins were minted in large quantities to ensure the public had enough in circulation. However, even though millions were produced, the value of a coin doesn't simply depend on how many exist. It also depends on quality, errors, and collector demand. The obverse of the 1971 Australian 50-cent coin features the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin. This version of the Queen's effigy is one of the most recognisable, as it was used throughout many Commonwealth countries during the period. On the reverse you'll find the Australian coat of arms, a design by Stuart Devlin, who also created many of Australia's decimal coin reverses. The coat of arms features a shield with symbols representing each state of Australia, flanked by a kangaroo and an emu, two iconic native animals. The crown above the shield and the star at the top represent national unity. While many people handle these coins daily without giving much thought to their details, the artistry behind the design is one of the reasons collectors still treasure them. The mintage for the 1971 50-cent coin was around 30 million pieces, which makes it relatively common compared to other coins from Australia's decimal history. However, not all coins survive in good condition circulation, where scratches and damage can drastically reduce a coin's appeal to collectors. While millions were minted coins that remain in mint state condition, meaning they look almost exactly as they did the day they were struck, are far less common. Collectors are always on the lookout for such high-grade examples. So even though the figure might sound large, it doesn't mean that every 1971 50-cent coin is worthless. Condition and rarity within quality grades matter the most. If you have a 1971 Australian 50-cent coin that has been in circulation, its value will usually remain close to face value, which is 50 cents. However, some dealers and collectors may be willing to pay a small premium, perhaps $1 or $2, for a well-preserved circulated coin. Heavily worn or damaged examples rarely sell for more than their actual face value. But don't be discouraged. Sometimes coins that appear ordinary can still hold interest for people who are filling a year set of coins or completing an album. Collectors often want to collect every year's 50-cent coin, and that includes the 1971 issue, no matter how common it might be. If you happen to have a 1971 Australian 50-cent coin in uncirculated or mint state condition, its value can rise significantly. Coins graded as high as MS65 or MS66 by professional grading companies can fetch anywhere between $15 to $50 AUD, depending on market demand. Some particularly well-preserved examples may even sell for more, especially if they have proof-like qualities or strong strikes. Collectors are always eager to secure coins that look brand new with shiny luster and no visible wear. These coins are much harder to find because most were used in circulation. So if you've got a pristine example tucked away in a collection, it could definitely be worth more than you think. Another factor that can significantly increase the value of a 1971 Australian 50-cent coin is the presence of minting errors or varieties. Error coins can include things like double strikes, off-center strikes, die cracks, or planchet flaws. Such coins are rare because quality control usually prevents too many from escaping the mint, but when they do, collectors are willing to pay a hefty premium. Some era coins from this era have sold for hundreds of dollars depending on the severity and uniqueness of the era. If you think your 1971 coin looks strange, it might be worth having it checked by a numismatic expert. You could be sitting on something quite special. The market for coins like the 1971 50 cent is always changing. While common coins may not command very high prices, the demand for complete sets keeps their value steady. Collectors love building albums year by year, and that creates ongoing demand for coins from every single date, even the common ones. Over the years, the interest in Australian decimal coins has been growing, not only in Australia but also internationally, where Commonwealth coin collectors want to add unique pieces to their collections. The fact that the 1971 issue is now over 50 years old also means that pristine coins are becoming harder to find, which could gradually increase their value as time passes. If you do own a 1971 Australian 50 cent coin, especially one in very good condition, it's important to store it properly. Coins should be kept in protective holders or capsules to prevent further wear or damage. Handling coins with bare hands can transfer oils and dirt, which may degrade their surfaces over time. Using cotton gloves is recommended if you need to handle them directly. Keeping them in a cool, dry environment also helps preserve their quality. Proper care can mean the difference between a coin that's just average and one that maintains its high-grade collector value for years to come. The 1971 Australian 50 cent coin may seem like just another everyday piece of change, but when you take into account its history, design, mintage, and potential for uncirculated and error varieties, it becomes much more than that. While most coins will only be worth their face value, the small percentage that survive in pristine condition or with rare minting errors can be worth far more to collectors. So, the next time you come across a 1971 50 cent coin, don't just toss it aside. Check its condition carefully, as you might have something valuable. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the story of the 1971 Australian 50 cent coin, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on our future videos. We share detailed information about coins from Australia and around the world, and with your support we'll continue uncovering the hidden treasures that might just be sitting in your pocket or collection.